Not something. Someone.
I wanted to start with sort of asking, do you remember the moment when you became obsessed with this little and powerful
Yes.
book?
Yes.
And was it after watching the classic James Whale version?
Well, I became obsessed with Karloff and Creature after seeing the Whale movie, but I wanted to make it after reading the book. Because I said, oh, wait, okay, that's not the movie I saw. This book is very different. And through the years, I tried to do it, make it as a young filmmaker and older, blah, blah. And I decided at some point, well, it'll happen when it needs to happen. It took decades to finally get to the point where I thought I was able to talk not as a son about a father, but as a father in turn about my children and how that generational pain is passed from one to the other.
You mentioned you needed decades. So I'm curious, how did your obsession evolve throughout the years? Because, you know, the text is still the same, but you're now different.
Yeah, it's funny. It evolved by actually finding its way in all my movies. There's a little bit of Frankenstein on Kronos, on Blade 2, on Hellboy, on the resurrected body of Cronin and Hellboy. There's so much of Frankenstein through the decades, and I rehearse the aesthetic of the movie on Crimson Peak. Even a robot on Pacific Rim with the flat top is a little bit like Frankenstein, the Russian robot. So there is a little bit of that throughout the decades, and that allows me to practice thematic or audiovisual things, and finally we get to it, and you find more wisdom a little bit along the way, or at least more experience along the way that serves you well in interpreting something that you want to make yours, but you want to honor at the same time.
We're talking about this idea of process, and I'm curious if there was a moment, idea of the U-turn, a tipping point when you felt, okay, I got it. This is it. I can continue to.
It's not a cut. You don't go from this to that. It's a dissolve. You go, one thing becomes the other. When you decide, oh, this is what I'm going to present that hasn't been presented before, that is going to illuminate the work again, when you shoot scenes that had never been from the novel to the film, or you decide to structure it so that in the middle of the movie, all of a sudden the creature says, wait, I'm going to tell you how it was for me. Those are things you find. You feel that you're grabbing the essence of the novel, even if it's changing. You feel that you have it, and it's instinctive.
Because I think you're one of the first persons who's trying to grab the essence, because you're one of the first authors who's actually, showing a rather detailed rise and creation of Victor's creature. Maybe it's a silly question, but is that it? Is the sequence you have been waiting to make your entire career?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. There are really important changes to the way, you hit the notes. Everybody's expecting to see the creation sequence. Everybody's expecting to see the creature being thrown out or forlorn or lost in the world and being attacked violently by the world. But, no one had done the anatomical detail of the construction of the creature in a joyful way. We do. We have a happy waltz, and he's happy to be doing it. It's not a horrible thing. It's something that he's been looking forward so long. The morning after, the creature is looking at him from the foot of the bed. That's, for me, one of the most beautiful scenes in the book, and it never been rendered in any way before. Episode of the creature is more like a fairy tale with animals guiding him into understanding the world. Ravens, mice, deer, wolves, etc., etc. I mean, the fact that the bodies come from a worn, torn landscape, which is quite substantial to the existence of the Romantic movement, but is not in the novel, etc., etc.
There's this idea in your film that a newly born creature devours knowledge, literature, just like you used to devour films when you were young. Is there something inspiring for you in Frankenstein's creature? Because I was thinking of this idea that, after all, we live in times in which people are less and less interested in the world that surrounds them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the more you are told about things and the less you find them, the less they become knowledge. I think that you can receive a bunch of information constantly during the day, and if you didn't earn it, then it's not knowledge. And I think the very moving part of the tale of the creature is how it learns three first words: Victor, Elizabeth, and friend. And when he learns friend in the film, it's very comforting that he has a gesture of communication with somebody else that is very moving, and then every word has a weight. And it's beautiful to see Jacob start earning more words until at the end of the film he's able to express really complicated emotions in a beautiful way.
So before we wrap up, I was also thinking that, as a director of this adaptation, do you feel like Frankenstein because your film is out in November?
Yeah, I mean, it is very easy to see Victor as a director and The Creature as a film. And the film, like The Creature, rebels against the creator many, many times, and that's a good thing. When anything goes wrong or contrary to your plans in a movie, it's actually the movie telling you what it needs to be. So I value it, yeah.